I was on chat with AJ just a little while back. A lot of you are already, running your YouTube channels. AJ has got experience there. Anubhav, you've been doing it as well. So you can perhaps share inputs and insights in terms of, best practices, so to speak. And then we can basically take it off from there. AJ, would you want to take a lead on this one?
Yeah, sure. I mean, let's just discuss whatever topics we need around. But I think as a starting point, I think everyone finds it really hard to get onto YouTube. And one of the reasons they find it hard to get onto YouTube isn't because of the technology, it's just sitting in front of a camera itself. And everyone tries to strive for perfection, and they want it to be, it's very scary talking to a camera. So people forget their topic, and they concentrate more on how it's being delivered as opposed to their own area of expertise. But the way I did it is I just got started, and I thought, started thinking about, I need it to be really good. It needs to be really perfect. The sound needs to be perfect, and the lighting needs to be perfect, because it will never be perfect. It's an evolving type of thing. Right. Yeah. And we all procrastinate a lot, thinking that it needs something to be perfect, to be absolutely perfect. But that's just a way of avoiding doing something. So, the first thing I would say is that you want to get onto YouTube, just get started, create a video. It doesn't matter how good it is. It doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, just get started. And in time, they will get better and better and better. And you will learn over the period of time.
I think AJ has really made a good point, and I think I echo that. So effectively, the whole idea is you need to start from the left, and the left is basically your starting point, and right is your finish line, and you'll never be perfect. So effectively, the whole idea is, how do you actually get familiar with camera? And once you are familiar with camera, you basically start there, and you'll make mistakes. But making mistakes is okay. What you're gaining out of that is basically gaining the experience of actually getting in and talking through. So what you need to look at is that when you're delivering something, the pace, the hand movement, gesture, all that basically counts in, and you perfect that not once, but at least you do that 10 times. And once you've done that, on the 11th time, you'll see that, okay, it's now making sense. Like, for example, I'll take my personal example. Coming from the Indian subcontinent and working here in Australia, I technically speak a bit too fast. I'm a very fast speaker. So I need to basically always remind myself, my audience that I'm talking to, I actually don't really absorb everything very fast. So how do I pace myself? So that's very important. So to AJ's point, get in front of the camera. Don't really worry about what the content is. You just practice speaking. And the other way, if you're scared of cameras, start doing that in front of the mirror. And all of a sudden you'll see yourself and you will get distracted. So the whole idea is that, how do you actually present, and you move away from the distraction that's allowing you not to be able to present. And a mirror is a great support for anyone who's looking at practicing delivering a speech. Try that, and hopefully you'll come through.
Great. Anubhav, I just want you to add, in terms of, this is pretty much in sync with the first question that Krunal, who hasn't joined in us yet, mentioned on that group. How do you start? The first thing is, as AJ pointed out, is that just take the plunge, set up your YouTube channel, and just start making videos. In terms of, you should know the context to what you're trying to convey there. And as time goes by, we all evolve, and that's how it actually happens with YouTube. Anubhav, tell us about your experience, please.
I faced the same thing. And I was actually just trying to get in front of the camera, and the posture was not looking good, because I'm shooting my videos from mobile, and it always have cut down frames. I mean, it comes very slant in a very slidey manner. So then I just thought to just sit on the chair, put the camera on my front so that my face and shoulders could appear, so that the frame should look in a very symmetric way. Right. So this is the first ever challenge, which I faced. The second point is of content. Because now what I'm doing is, I'm not writing, or I'm not just learning the content that I have to say on the video. And what I'm doing is, to make it easier for me to recognize what I have to say, I'm just writing a blog on the topic that I have to speak on. And because writing a blog, because if you write something, then you will automatically recognize those things, because you're writing them from your personal experience and views. So it becomes easier for you to catch up on the video and to easily communicate with your audience. And another point that I have noticed is by sharing the punching lines, saying welcome to my channel and all of those things. And in the second step, you are going to discuss about the topic. And in the third line, you are going to say that subscribe to my channel. I feel that the timing of all these paragraphs is really important in the first 15 seconds of your video, right? Which I felt, because if I'm taking too much of time in explaining all these things before getting into my topic, then I could see minimum watch times of the video. But in case if I want to increase the watch times, that's it's important to keep the 15 seconds very short and crisp, right? And then you can start with whatever you want to say.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually call that the hook. So
Hook, yeah.
So the first 15 seconds are absolutely crucial, because what you're doing is you're introducing people to a situation that they can relate to, hit their pain point, and then using those for 15 seconds, people will decide whether they want to carry on or not.
Right.
If I start talking about me, and you've got to remember, when creating YouTube videos, it's not about me. Yeah, it's about how am I going to help my audience. Yeah. So if I start talking about just me, I'm this, I've done this, whatever, people are going to switch off. They don't want to know. You know, nowadays people don't have time for that. They just want good quality, valued information. So I totally agree with, you know, that first 15 seconds is absolutely crucial. We're going to give them the hook, and then your actual content. And then towards the end, you're going to have some sort of a call to action. So if you do want to get started, just segment your video into these three areas. So you got your hook, you got your content, and you got your call to action. Don't start off by saying, subscribe to my channel, because if people have not heard you, if people have not watched you or whatever, they're not going to subscribe anyway. They're only going to subscribe or like you if they like what you're talking about and the way you're delivering your content.
Exactly. And just to give that call to action, what I'm doing is I'm saying in the video and that my next video is going to be about this particular topic. So make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you can receive the latest notification of my video that I'm going to launch. So this is the call to action I'm using for my videos.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Fantastic. So let's give a shout out to the other guys who also joined in. Sorry for the interruption, AJ. And also, I just wanted to check in terms of, you know, who else has been working on YouTube, etc. How many of us have YouTube channels, active YouTube channels? So I think we all set up YouTube. AJ, I know for a fact. Also, Anubhav, I know for a fact, has one. Okay, so that's super. Chandan has a YouTube channel as well. Good to get that one. So Chandan, how about you share some insights in terms of, for beginners, when somebody gets down to setting up a YouTube channel, what is your, in terms of what you feel are the other initial level strategies?
The only mantra I believe in is engagement. If by any means you are getting engagement, then obviously you should go. And there should be a particular genre for which you are famous. Like, if you think people should come to your channel, they should watch your videos, then there must be some reason behind it. There must be some benefit which you are serving to your audience. Like, for example, if I have a channel on my company name. Okay, so yes, we are a digital marketing company. We cannot go anywhere away from digital marketing. Okay, so because my audience, my subscribers will be those who are interested in digital marketing, will be those who wants to see something on my channel. First of all, we have to make the funnel. We have to decide who is our target audience, to whom we will serve. Then we have to say like what kind of interest they have, because YouTube is a very good platform when we see insights. They can show you the average watch time. They can tell you like for how long people are staying with you. So if you are getting those insights, you can get the idea like kahan aapne pakana shuru kar diya. Okay. For your next video, you can use those insights to grow better.
Excellent, Chandan. Thanks so much for your inputs. So basically, we've kind of covered also to an extent the second point, which was how to build subscribers from ground zero. So when you're actually starting out, first thing which I remember AJ said was just take the plunge, set out, be a little structured in terms of what you'd like to be talking about. You also mentioned about not talking too much about yourself, understand your audience, understand your target in terms of what you typically trying to convey on the video there. And in terms of what else you think is required for us to build the subscribers?
I think one of the real key things about creating YouTube videos is the way you're going to deliver your content in the first place. There are three things that you need in order to make sure that your delivery is good, and that is, first of all, your lighting. Just make sure you got good lighting so it's well lit up. There's a whole range available, even from as little as $10, but they really do make a massive difference in terms of your delivery. Secondly, your sound quality. So wherever possible, try to make sure that you're not always using the default microphone which is built into your phone equipment. Just invest in sound so you've got really good sound quality. And third thing is just get a tripod. Get yourself a tripod. So make sure that your phone is as stable as possible and it's not moving around, because if it's moving around, it's gonna put people off. So if you get your sound quality right, your lighting, and get a tripod, and then you're already on the winning sort of platform whereby you're delivering good content and your delivery method is also really good. Any comments or feedback on that?
That's really good.
I agree.
Insights from an aesthetic look. So those it's pretty important to have the surrounding ambience really well created. Just to add on to that, from a content perspective, what's very important is that how do you actually figure yourself from a subject matter expert to a subject matter authority. And we talked about followers. Your following will actually determine if you're an authority in your subject. So what you're talking about. I think in one of my previous presentations, I've talked about NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, and the way AJ talked about a few seconds ago about what's your opening statement that you bring along that basically gets your audience attracted and stick to the presentation. So, for example, you could say something like this: the fact that you're here today basically shows that you're interested in this topic. And so what you're basically what NLP does, that is basically used by senior leadership people, and it's all about getting the humness and the yeses from the audiences. So effectively, there's no dilemma in the minds of your audiences as to why they're there. So you're using positive annotations, and the words that you're using are very, very selective. It's like hypnotizing your audiences to basically hear you and basically nod to whatever you are saying. And that's how you basically bring the stickiness into your conversation. And it's all about, okay, so the fact that you're here demonstrates the fact that you basically are keen to learn. And what we're learning about, in this YouTube channel video is A, B, and C. And then you talk about, so it's, as AJ said, and I think Anubhav also talked about, it's not about you. It's not about you blasting content. It's about the audience, what they're liking, and the content that you're publishing is basically to their understanding and to their liking. So you're actually curating content for your audiences, not for yourself.
Right.
Correct. So it's important to understand the audience, and yes, that's a good point. Chandan, you wanted to add something? I'm sorry, you were saying something at that time. Would you like to add?
Yeah, like what you were saying, like how we can start from 0 subscribers. Hack, but kind of white hat hacks. Okay, so like what we can use is we can use multi-channel marketing in that. Okay, we can use our social media handles for that promotions. YouTube has very much stringent policies against usage of words. There can be copyrights, etc. Okay, so you can be reported as well. So what you can do is you can use your Instagram audience and say, like, for example, for Instagram audience, you can say subscribe to our channel for this continual video. Okay, for example, if part 1 of some video is on YouTube, behind the scenes can be on Instagram. Okay, because on Instagram, you can get easy engagement as compared to YouTube. You can share your links through Facebook groups, etc. And there are n number of engagement groups also. And on Facebook, I hope I make sense.
Yeah, we're all making sense.
Yeah.
So let's just kind of basically take it to the next level.
That I can add, just in addition to what AJ said about lighting, other one is background. So what you need to have, and that's not, again, and not necessary at this stage, but as you go, 5 or 6 videos into it, your background should not be distracting, because what happens is that if your background is distracting, people actually start focusing on the background, and that becomes a distraction. So you need to have a plane. So for example, either you can create a canvas type thing, which is your brand name. or your organization's name, and you basically talk behind. So whenever you're talking, your personal brand is actually behind you, and that basically gives another glory. It is again, it's all these things are setting yourself as your personal brand and showing yourself as an authority.
Totally agree.
All right.
Okay, so
Right,
let's
Satya.
move on to the next one. Tools. So we've discussed in terms of the equipment that's required, the good lighting is required, non-negotiables there for sure. Editing apps. In terms of when you're actually working on the video, I saw AJ, you've done a lot of editing for yours and also for your son's YouTube channel.
Okay, so I use two pieces of software. The first one I use is Camtasia.
Yes.
And I just find it so easy to use. But I also use Adobe Rush, which works on my mobile. So basically, if I want to take a video from a mobile and I don't want to go to desktop, there's a software called Adobe Rush, and you can do all the editing of the video, everything within that software itself. And you can upload your video from your phone. You can truncate, you can improve the sound quality. So you can, there's so many things you can do within that. You can also create overlays, so if annotations. So if you want to emphasize something, you know, you can create labels that are arrows or whatever, all within that piece of software.
Okay, before I let Anubhav take it on from here, I know he's taking his notes. I'd like you to also shed some light on the same points in terms of editing apps and tools, etc.
I'm using Filmora, Wondershare Filmora software to edit my videos and create whatever animation I want. It works best. I mean, if you have a 64-bit PC, then you can get more options and you can find it easier to use that software. And to create banners and photos, I'm using Photoshop. The tools that I've experienced or working from last 5 years. So I find them easy to use for me and to create whatever images I want.
Have you tried Camtasia? Because I've worked on that. It's pretty cool.
No, I have not, because I've just noted it. So I'm going to definitely try it out.
I think that's happening. Anuradhi, you've been quiet today. Would you like to add something from your side before we go on to the next point?
I don't do YouTube personally, but whatever I have seen from others' experience is keep posting videos of yourself no matter what the quality is. Initially, of course, it will be low, as everyone of you have experienced it. And so as and when you keep growing, your quality also increases, and so is your confidence to face the camera and everything. But the only thing is, keep continuing posting videos no matter how many subscribers you have, what engagement you get, because whatever you post, it is like evergreen on YouTube. It never dies down. I always see some videos which turn up, which are 1-year-old, 2-year-old videos, and right when I open the app, at that same time it keeps showing me videos which are years old. So that way is the content is evergreen. So no matter what you post, you always have to continuously post, like whatever your niche is about. Keep posting regularly.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask Manisha. Manisha, would you like to add anything? Because you missed out the initial part, which was typically about how to set up the channel, etc. But do you have anything to add from your side in terms of YouTube? Do you have your own channel, Manisha?
I don't have my own channel, but I've seen lots of channels. They have a cool, little bit animation part of their channel also. In animation, it's sort of texting animation and all. So we're creating the via tools and all. Even though for YouTube, thumbnail is very important. If your thumbnail is great, according to your content and all, so user can click on your video easily. So then, I guess the thumbnail is important.
So Anubhav, you wanted to say something. I'm going to take you there for now.
Thumbnail plays a very important role, and it helps in increasing the call to action of the user. So for my videos as well, I mean, I'm just spending around 15 to 20 minutes to create the thumbnail image, just to make sure it looks appealing. It should be easy to read. I mean, if a user is getting cached on your thumbnail, then definitely you're not get a hit.
Thumbnails, just a couple of points on thumbnails. So one of the things to bear in mind is that you don't have to use the thumbnail which is created by YouTube. You can create your own thumbnails. So coming back onto the previous question about the software, one other software I tend to use is called Canva, and it's free and it's absolutely brilliant. You want to create a thumbnail, you go to canva.com and you can create, you know, one of the best thumbnails ever, and it looks a lot like it's done really professionally. Right. So yeah, the thumbnails are absolutely key. Keep them consistent.
We'll go on to our interesting part in terms of the SEO strategies, which is the fourth question that Kunal had actually asked. So who wants to take up this one? Who wants to start talking about the best practices in terms of SEO strategies to increase the reach?
I think, firstly, it comes on to doing some keyword research. One of the easiest ways you can do that is just go to YouTube and type in, literally start typing in your topic. Like if I type in, say, Google Ads, what YouTube will do, it will give me auto suggestions based on the most commonly typed keywords. So it might show 3 or 4 other topics which are related to Google Ads, but it's based on how popular these topics are.